I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. It's also lead them
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Can there be too many puppies? Let's find out.
That's a philosophical question of the year. Can there be too many puppies?
SGS is our, well, we gotta come up for a name for, like, when there's, like, a group of people all together, because a DJ is somebody who buys 4 or more songs, so I don't know what these people are to be called, but SGS...
We don't know what to call you people!
We don't know what to call you people. SGS has picked Primus, Too Many Puppies, and he says, Too Many Puppies is a song off the 1990 album Frizzle Fry by Primus, or Primus.
These people can't, it's Primus. You know these people can't be Christian, talking about too many puppies.
First time I heard it, I think I played it 5 times in a row. The lyrics are timeless as well, he said. All right, let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Is this SGS?
SGS with Too Many Puppies.
All right, he said something about the lyrics are timeless, so now I gotta see.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here we go. Too Many Puppies. Primus is the name of the band. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. Rumble.
Don't forget to get the likes up on Rumble.
How many likes up on Rumble?
If we get enough likes on Rumble, you know what that means.
Contest, somebody can earn points.
That means all of a sudden you're going to see one of these.
Right.
And that means somebody is going to win a prize.
Magic number, things like that.
We're adding up
A
points.
free review, a shirt, a lot of things that could happen. But
also,
hey,
guys, season 3... we're nailing down a date for when season 3 actually starts. It's like one of those situations where the person is engaged and they're like, wait, you've been engaged how long?
Right.
And it's like years and years.
Right.
It's not one of those situations. We are coming into season 3.
We've been engaged to our audience.
We're like, we're going to be a new season's coming. Well, date is being set.
Here's Gnostic Meek. Wow, Primus? Smiley face. Then he says, Primus sucks. I don't know who that is, but I like people like that. Here we go! Primus in this bitch! Too Many Puppies Remastered 2002 MP4. Let's go!
Ew.
I think that's where Korn said that this was one of their influences.
Oh, yeah, okay. What? Are you... Right?
Yeah. But ours is a lot cooler. That's that again.
Puppies, a big shot in the dark.
puppies. I've tried to heal too many puppies. I trained to kill. I make a man like man wearing my defensive vitamins. Sleep animal pills. Too many puppies. Too many puppies. Too many puppies. Too many puppies.
See a lot of corn here. They came out before corn though.
Here comes a train. You hear it?
Too many puppies with guns in their hands. Too many puppies in foreign lands. Dress up, shopping, soup, shopping, and place up on the war machine. Too many puppies, not just like me. Too many puppies, not afraid to see the vision that I'm about to brought to life again. Too many puppies, too many else branding #1.
He says a brand new #1. Oh, okay. So that's where
Okay, I
corn
can
got
hear-
that from.
There are some similarities. Even I could pick up on it.
Too many I wish Ben Webb was here. He's like, finally Vin realizes that the band he's been listening to is trash. Shut up, Ben Webb, who's
Yeah, but
not
the
even
thing is-
here.
The thing is, you know where Primus got this, right?
From Korn, probably.
No, from the Beatles.
Oh, that's right. It must have been the Beatles. They'd been long dead by this time. This is 1990 in this bitch.
Somebody
But
in the
somehow-
comment section is going to get lit on that. They're going to be like, they think
They
that
know.
these morons.
You
Okay.
should turn that into a short. People monetize that one, you mother.
Yeah.
Too many puppies.
Okay, I can actually see why you put this song on a repeat. It is heavy.
Yeah, like they just, that's the thing about new metal, man. You just ride that. I told you, just ride that one riff, wait till the middle, break it in half, reassemble it in the backside, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's simple. We could come up with a new metal song like right now. I could write all the lyrics and the guitar parts. It would be hard as hell. Remember that band?
He's not lying. That's literally, you absolutely could do it.
Anybody could
Which
do
band?
it.
Well, I couldn't.
You could, absolutely, you could. We had a COVID-19, so we should have put
Yeah.
that song out, bro.
We should have.
We should have put that song out.
I was-
that shit
yeah.
would have been because
Yeah.
you had that mean streak about you. Because COVID would just happen. Everybody was like getting, the atmosphere was getting a little like electric.
She freaking coughed on me.
Yeah,
I would
man,
have slapped her in her face if I wasn't pregnant.
Yeah, you were pregnant at the time.
And I was like, I had that
she's
thought
like,
in
yeah,
my
I'm
head.
gonna slap the shit out this bitch. I was like, what? That was like one of the. I'm like, you?
It's because she stood in the way and she wouldn't let me get the stuff on the show. Not that she wouldn't let me. What actually happened was the lady was standing there forever and not making her decision. But at that point, everybody was supposed to stay 6 feet away from each other. And I was like on my feet, like my legs were. I did not want to be standing there any longer. I'm an impatient person anyway. So I decided while she's standing there, I was going to sneak in there and grab the box I want. And when I did, she started yelling at me about 6 feet, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I mean, you were just standing there in front of the shelf. I couldn't get the things that I needed. And then that's when she started coughing on me. And that was when like that thought in my head was like, like when you see the person's face in slow motion, boom, and like the skin kind of goes on the other side.
Shaitan.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Shaitan.
And then I thought to myself, if she retaliates and she kicks my belly and I lose this child, no, not worth it. Put the thing in my cart and left. But that was one of those situations where I held it in. So I was ready to be, I was so pissed off. And we could have written that, we could have done that song.
We could have, yeah.
Because I was dark.
Yeah, we had, yeah, we wrote that shit in 2 minutes, bro. Okay,
so obviously the puppies were, that's like well, we just were talking about the draft, but like that's a situation. It's the boys being taken off into war.
This came out in 1990. What were we doing in 1990? Was that Desert Storm? Desert Storm? I think it was that Desert Storm.
Was that another draft?
No, there was no draft. That was when we Desert Storm is one. Yeah, find out when we went to Desert Storm. This is 91, 92, 93, I'm not sure. Because the
Desert Storm years was 1990. Bingo. Wow,
yeah,
babe.
Yeah.
To 1991. So yeah. So that's what they're probably talking about for sure.
Yeah, but that whole Desert Storm thing, that was like, we just ran in there and just like, I mean, I wasn't there at all, but just I talked to people who were there, and it was like, yeah, man, we just ran through them dudes, bro. And it wasn't a we weren't trying to regime change or anything like that. It was Kuwaiti oil fields, yada yada yada, show of force, yada yada yada. You know.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Too many puppies being shot in the dark. Too many puppies are trained not to bark at the sight of blood that must be spilled so that we may maintain our oil fields. Because again, that was Kuwait.
Is this it right here? This is how many deaths we had?
Yeah. Yeah,
so interesting.
It was very minimal.
Yeah, but he wrote that whole song. I thought there must have been like, I mean,
well, he's not talking. He's not talking. I don't think he's only talking about American soldiers dying. He's talking about people dying. Like, we're killing folks out there to maintain. And it was. I mean, it was. There wasn't a conspiracy theory. That's literally what happened. He went out there and he messed with the Kuwaitis in their oil fields.
Yeah, that's.
And then we said stop. And then like, dude set the whole thing on fire. And then, but that wasn't really enough to get us to say we should mobilize and go to war with this dude. So then they came up. I think it's Madeleine Albright. Saddam Hussein is taking these babies off of these ventilators and they're dying. Like, that's how cruel he is. The minute everybody heard that, we was like, oh no. That they gotta die. I can't believe this shit. Ventilators? Nah. There's a line, and you just crossed it. America, we're gonna go over there, and we're gonna fuck you up for what you did to them babies, bro. That's what happened. It was a complete lie. Complete lie. You know what I'm saying? Jeez. It was a total lie. You know, there's a lot of countries that do that. They'll come up with like really like crazy, fantastical numbers about shit, or they'll come up with like really crazy. Wow. They'll have very round numbers.
Mm-hmm. You know
what I'm saying? They'll have very round numbers and tell you all types of shit to demonize the people that they're about to massacre.
They expect you to fall in line.
Because most people are not fans of doing that shit. So you gotta come up with some real reason. Sometimes I wonder if Desert Storm or even OIF and all this stuff. Like, I wonder in the social media age if they had been able to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. I wonder if dudes, if the media would have been able to, because there was no contrary voices. Like, really? Why would this guy go in there and take babies off ventilators? Why would he do that? For what reason? For what reason? For what purpose? You know?
Piss off the whole world.
Like, why would he? Especially like now when they're like really close to having war with America. And then he's going to do that? Like, that's kind of odd.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, you never know. Because you got certain intelligence agencies putting out crazy numbers, talking about crazy shit. People just eating it up without verification. And even if something like the Wall Street Journal comes out and says, there's no evidence of XYZ, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Too many puppies, man. See, this is smart because it's a brilliant way of subterfuge, because it sounds so like if you're because you know, like if you're in the 60s, that means your parents were probably born in the 40s or whatever, and so all they know about war is World War II and all this. So if you were a 60s kid and you were listening to anti-war music, that might trigger your dad or your mom because, you know, they're coming from a certain kind of. But if you're a 90s kid, so your parents were Vietnam vets, you're not saying fuck the war, Jane Fonda. All you're hearing is Too Many Puppies. So you're like, oh, okay, son, you're listening to a song about puppies. That's kind of weird and stupid, but okay. But you know what the song is really about. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's you gotta think. So much of the game is psychological. Like, people have no idea. Too many puppies are being shot in the dark. Too many puppies are trained not to bark. That's a crazy line because a dog's, you know, one of the definitive characteristics of what makes a dog is the ability to bark. And so it's like you're stripping the canininity out of that dog, out of that animal.
Well, also the dogs, that's how he communicates, and so you're stripping away his communication. And like if you read further, it says too many puppies are taught to heel and are trained to kill. Heel, obviously, I'm assuming is when you say heel and the dog comes right down to your ankle. Yeah. So you know we're teaching the military we're teaching these boys that we're joining, like, do this, be this, you know, they go in, they shave their head, they all dress the same. Like they were trying to, that whole idea of like breaking them down and then building them up as a soldier with certain mindsets that they're set apart and they're like, so that way the person kind of goes forward in this sort of like mechanical, because what they're going to have to do is you're going to have to take some focus to go in there and do the things that they haven't, you know, thought all their life probably that they wanted to do is go in and kill people.
Well, it's just like not barking is contrary to a dog's nature. Killing another human being. Now, this is interesting considering my original sin doctrine. But killing another human being is also the most unnatural thing a person can do. And so that's why, unless you're a sociopath or a serial killer or something like that, you have to be taught to kill. And even when people think that, oh, if my life was on the line, I would kill somebody. I've literally been there when people's lives been on the line and they couldn't do it. So you have to really train and do a lot of head work psychologically. And the U.S. military employs psychologists that'll get you to the point of 0 to 60 a lot quicker relative to killing than before. So, and I will say, like, Americans, in my view, we're the most aggressive people on the planet. You know, if you'd have asked me during 9/11, we would have said the Muslims are, but it's clear that the Muslims are not the most aggressive people on the planet. There's 1.5 billion of them, and they're... Let me shut my mouth. So, no, they're not the most brutal people on the planet. We are. And, you know, some of that is just pride, like, yeah, like, we'll get busy. We'll hurt you. The other of it, though, is you can be a bully. You can be a real life gangster when you got all the weapons. You got all the guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys out here playing with, you know, 9 millis or whatever, and you got RPGs. Yeah. You got, yeah. You got, you know, you got JDAMs. You got an Air Force. You know what I'm saying? Like, too many puppies, man. Like, that's a real smart way of doing it, man. Like, I'm gonna train you to do something that's outside of your nature. Yep. And when I got you fully formed, now you're a killing machine. Too many puppies are taught to heal. Too many puppies are trained to kill on the command of men wearing money belts that buy mistresses sleek animal pelts. I mean, God. There's this movie called, I think it's called Lions for Lambs is the movie. And Tom Cruise is in it. And it's one of those things where, like, it's a court kind of setting. And you see these two guys from the military, and they're kind of stuck in this gulch. And if you know anything, like, those guys they had the height on them, you know, like, dimensionality was very unfavorable in that particular situation. And so, like, you're watching these guys, like, on the ground, like, in this situation, and then you're seeing the courtroom scene with Tom Cruise, and then and then from Tom Cruise, you see there's like a college, university type, you know, environment. So the movie kept cycling between these three kind of scenes and scenarios. And so, like, when he was testifying, because Tom Cruise when he was testifying, it was very, like, it was all the justifications that the right wing had for the war. So it's just we were attacked, blah 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 blah, and then the person's cross-examining was like, well, do you have the evidence and blah blah blah, and it's like, I don't need to show you. You know, it was basically like a Fox News segment. And then when he was then it went to the university, it was all the left-wing stuff, right? Because that's, you know. And then on the ground, you had the actual soldiers who were actually paying actual prices, and it was kind of like there are some pretty intense scenes, and it was kind of like, look at all these people having all these discussions in relative safety, and you got these two guys right here, you know, lions for lambs, right? Like that was a very, very impactful movie that didn't really get a lot of traction, because I think it pissed off everybody. Oh. The right wingers, the courtroom scene didn't make them look good, and then the left wingers, it was just, we don't want to fight, but there was no reason behind it. And then there were other people saying, well, you're benefiting off of this war and that war and that war, so what are you talking about? And like, you know, how did you feel during 9/11? And were you afraid? Yes. Do you think another one's going to happen? No. Well, why do you think that is? You know what I'm saying? So it was like both groups are not going to like it because they're not propping up your talking points. And then, yeah, I'm not gonna give up the how the movie ended, but
that's probably
it was a very brilliant treatment of the situation.
Probably a sort of timeless piece for that age. Like, if people from another generation look back on it, they'd be like, wow, look at this piece, because it kind of explained more what was going on, and they don't have to be offended because it wasn't them, you know?
Yeah, like Tom Cruise, like...
Yeah, Ranger, that's...
I understand, like, you know, the crazy Scientology stuff, but when he doesn't, like, make movies willy-nilly, aside from I think the Mission Impossible stuff is a like a hobby for him, because he gets to do all these stunts, and he does his own stunts most of the time. He jumps out of airplanes, all type
really?
of shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but, like... That, like, when Tom Cruise does a movie, there's usually, like, some overarching or underlying message under it. I can vouch that my dad was changed when he came home until the day he died. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
It takes things away from you that you can't, you know...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the most unnatural act, you know, to kill another human being. And when I say natural, what I'm talking about is, like, what God intended us to be.
Yep.
You know, like...
And there's no proper help for them when they get back. I think that was, you know, when I would see somebody holding a sign, you know, like, vet, please help, homeless, you know, stuff like that. And I would think to myself, man, they learned all that discipline and they can't work? What's going on? And then, you know, of course, that was before I just talked to any of them. And then, you know, there was one time I was talking to a vet, and he was saying, like, how it's really hard, and that he was saying he really could use a lot more help, but that it's basically just like it was either 6 hours or less, a class, when they got back, for them to, like, to reset them, to integrate back into civilian society. It was just crazy. I couldn't even believe, like, how little there was. And then, you know, I guess, you know, that bothers me more when I see a vet sign now, because I'm like, you know, these people put out and they traumatize themselves, and now they've got issues, you know, like, they probably wreck stuff with their families, or they can't hold, there's just so many complications, and with there not being the help available to them, it's just messed up. It's messed up that we don't mind capitalizing off the freedoms that we have based off the sacrifices that they made. But you know, I think that if more people understood that the vets were being treated like that way, I think that maybe things would be different. But I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of people that would understand that.
The relationship Americans have, and by extension the Western world has, with the U.S. military is a very... There's a lot of European countries that are safe and secure because we're around. It's just a fact. So Mr. Trump was like, listen, y'all got to pay us, man. We're out here being the Aquatine Hunger Force or whatever. Like, you got to pay. Like, this stuff is not as simple as anybody wants to make it. Like, and everybody is benefiting from the United States' aggression. Everyone is. So much so that I've had Europeans come into our chat and say, what are you Americans doing about Ukraine? You guys need to go to Ukraine. Like, I've had that.
That's right, yeah.
I can show you guys clips. I told him one day, I was like, man, if you don't get out of this chat, bro. So like, I liked the way they did that movie because it really brought out the because like I'm with the left on the Iraq war situation. They were completely right, but the movie pointed out the complete hypocrisy of people who benefit off of, you know, the warmongering of America.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But at the same time, like, want the comfort of the life of an American or comfort of the life of being in a Western world, but don't want to look at, you know, hey, you got a burger on your plate. That means there was a cow in a slaughterhouse. Yeah. That's what that means. You see what I'm saying? So anytime I see like oversimplistic understandings of this shit, it's like, okay, that's why I like this song. You know, like it's a crazy thing, man. Like the war is crazy, and when you're in the middle of in an empire, I always talk about it. You've got Rome, you've got Alexander the Great, all the rest of it. I think the only thing that's massively different about the American hegemony and our world dominance has to do with the infusion of Christianity, which kind of creates a self-critique. You did not have people like on the streets, you know, saying Alexander should not be Hellenizing the world. What the fuck? This is terrible. Like, what? There's nobody in Rome going, man, fuck this shit. It's like, oh, they crucified you. It's like, yeah, they wouldn't if you're a Roman citizen. But aside from that, these people really believed in that shit. So I will say, like, America's ability to self-critique. Like, the Romans would self-critique at the philosophical level. But it wasn't like a deep moral, like, we're horrible for doing this to other human beings. But it was a philosophical type of criticism, like, okay, how does this work for what we're trying to do as far as the Roman, you know, understanding of government and all the rest of it. So there's a, you know, there are a lot of things that are unique about the American empire, and then there's a lot of things that are you know, par for the course type of thing. But yeah, man, it's a definitely really good song, and I'm also gonna give it, I gotta give it props because this is one of those bands that clearly influenced the best band in the world of all time. That's a band, Korn, obviously. So I'm gonna give this one a 9.5.
9.6 for me.
You can want a burger, but also not want want a factory farming system. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. But in order for you to have that juicy burger, you still have to slaughter that cow, my boy. And that is a horrible thing to witness. Like, there's no humane, you know, we use words like humane and things of that nature, man. But, I mean, you know, I'm sure you get the point. Like, there's a balance on there somewhere, and it's very difficult to find it. But I really like the song. And I like the subterfuge. Because the kid is out there banging this anti-war thing, but all his parents are hearing is too many puppies. Yep. Right? Yep. And so, like, you can be like, that's the difference. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of times when Rage Against the Machine CDs got thrown out, burned, set on fire, all type of shit. Because, you know, this is for the people of the sun. They're coming back around again. You know, you out here and then you come out, your kid's got your little white little Aryan little baby. He's out there with dreads and shit, talking about how horrible you are and shit for killing people and fuck George Washington. Like, I'm sure there was a lot of parents like, man, get this shit out of here. Yep. You can listen to that shit on your own time, bitch. Yep. Then you got that Primus kid going, yeah, man, too many puppies, Dad. You know how it should go. Smart. You need both. Well you need both. 9.5 for me. What'd you say?
9.6 for me.
9.6. We will see you, beautiful people, on the other side of the break. Too many puppies. Too many puppies is what the man said. Too many puppies. Okay. All right, guys. Commercial break. We shall be right back. Finn out.
Sori out.
Gone. Until the next one. My partner in crime has decided to vacate the premises. So we will do a Ask Me Anything. Leah Axelrod says, true, most European countries are safe because of the U.S., but also the U.S. is the biggest winner. The influence, strategic position, and basically world control financially and strategically is worth it, obviously, which is the reason that we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Because we wanted to lock up all that European hegemony because we want all that power and money. And our president, our president went on TV and said, we're not going to let them do that. We're not going to let a sovereign country have the self-determination to buy oil from whoever they want. We're going to go and destroy that thing. So Biden says, we're not going to let that happen. And the reporter said, well, what are y'all going to do? He's like, we're not going to let it happen. Hey, man, shout out to the US of A. We are definitely not supporting these European countries and keeping them quote-unquote safe because we just love our European neighbors. It's because we want to make sure that the next generation of Americans remain in the power position because we want to make sure that when the Chinese supposedly do what they do, we'll be ready. That's why there's a lot of foo-foo going around in the media right now and whatever. But, you know, it is what it is. Controller of Mines, congratulations on that rare earth metal discovery to add to your country's wealth. That is a big deal. Good for y'all. What was the discovery? I almost want the Europeans to be quiet about the discovery because we're gonna find some way to exploit that shit. But since the cat's already out of the bag, what did the Europeans discover? Hey, shout out to Peaceful Turtle. Good, yo, I like that name. Peaceful Turtle, that's legit. Phosphate in tons of, it seems that we have agreed with Morocco to adjust sales price and not ruin their economy. Yeah, I'm on a loop on that one, but that's good. Good, I'm glad. I used to think like this. I no longer think it's worth it. I'd much rather us take a step back, stop being the world police, and focus on the problems we have here at home. Phosphate has now been discovered. Is that what was the thing that we use in our phones or something? Some guy came on Joe Rogan and talked about it. Like, we've got all these mines in Africa or something like that for our phones and shit. A load of rare earth metals not in China, not phosphate. So it's something different than phosphate? That's crazy. Well, anyway, shout out to Europe for that. Hopefully that doesn't get turned into some horrible evil, which usually happens. You know, hopefully for once we could just let people have peace. There's going to be an actual show where the whole thing is just going to be QA. We've got that coming up pretty soon, and it's a QA session. It's me and Sori and a villager, and it's like an Ask Me Anything specifically for that person. It's a very, very, very interesting concept. I'm actually pretty excited to see how that's going to come about. But in the interim, until Sori gets back, obviously, we're not going to start the next song. So if somebody has a question about anything you want, I will try to answer as best as I can. Norge Mining have revised their statement saying the deposit found in Norway allows for a supply of phosphate rock for at least 50 years, not 100 years as they had stated previously. Yeah, it still seems to be a pretty significant haul, man. Shout out to the Europeans, man. And that's cool about, like, hey, we're not going to destroy Morocco's economy. I'm assuming Morocco was a big supplier of phosphate for y'all. Mining for Rare Earths Norway says it has discovered Europe's largest proven deposit of highly prized rare earth elements. Good. Why are you listening to this? What am I listening to, my brother? You talking about the background music? I like the background music, if that's what you're referring to. Any other questions? Any other questions? I will prioritize Rumble questions before YouTube questions. How about that?
All right, that's it.
Oh, it's too late to apologize.